Welcome to the Women in Leadership Body, Mind, Soul, and Business podcast. I'm Charlie.
And I'm Heather. And together we are working to connect women in leadership and business, empowering each other, improving the health and wellness of our community, body, soul, and mind, connecting to the heart and soul of who we are and what we do.
Good morning. Happy, I don't know, whatever day of the week it is today.
Wednesday.
It's going to be Wednesday. And
like, talk about throwing her under the bus.
These pre-recordings are fun, right? So we are here with the founder of urithiinvestmentsllc, here to talk to us today about her why and what she's doing.
There's only one R. It's Urithi.
Urithi.
Yes.
Urithi. Okay. Thank you for correcting me. Annie Lales with Urithi.
Yes.
Investments, here to talk with us today about all things that is on her heart, her big why, and why she does what she does.
So Annie, go ahead and introduce yourself and let us know how you started your business.
Hi. I started my business. I answered a sign on the side of the road because I was looking for a second job. And there was somebody that on the other line, and he was asking me questions. He's like, I really think you'd be good at real estate investing. And he sold some real estate investing education. So I started taking classes for the real estate investing, and I got signed up to also sell the investing education. But that's how I got started in real estate investing. And at the time, I was looking for a second job because I needed a place to live. Like I didn't have anything. I was kind of moving from like one place to another. We moved 14 times in my son's like first 2.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
So you were looking for some stability as a single mom.
Mm-hmm. Something I can do and still work.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be flexible around my own time. But so that's when I found Renatus, the education company, and I started taking all their classes, and I got to meet some amazing people that showed me how they do their real estate investing, how they find things, how they make money when they don't have anything. And that's how I've been able to grow these last 5 years financially, is because of that. Mm-hmm. So part of what I want to do is I want to give back to the community. Mm-hmm. I have a nonprofit. It's called Union Connection, and there's a few different things that we do. My role in it, there's me and another sheet metal wife. My role is to help working families that are in some type of crisis and they need something. Mm-hmm. We've paid for like a month of childcare. We've paid for like portions of rent that haven't been able to pay, that mm-hmm. the family hasn't been able to pay. I've done paid utility bills, and I gave away a car. So different things that I can do to help families so they can deal with their own situation. Mm-hmm. In a positive way. I'm not just going to hand out money, but I will help them with the things that they really need. Mm-hmm. So there's, so that's that part of it for locally, and internationally, mostly in Kenya, where I've done 4 mission trips. First time I went, and we just went to help kids, and mm-hmm. And then when I got back, I was like, I need to go back. I need to do something more. So I went back for 6 months and I did water wells. Mm-hmm. And while I was there doing the water wells, I think we did 14 wells during that 6 months I was there. But the first 4 months, we didn't do any wells because they were waiting for a welder. I didn't know they were waiting for a welder. That's my job. That's what I do. I am a welder.
Oh no.
So, so they're like, you know how to weld? Because they've never seen a woman welder.
Right.
Like, so they never even thought to ask
Mm-hmm.
me because they didn't know what I did. And so like I worked on the it was another nonprofit. It's called Love Mercy, and they dig water wells. I worked on their Land Cruiser. I fixed the brakes and I did stuff to their car because I worked at Les Schwab for 6 years, and I went to school for auto restoration, and I know how to work on cars. And so I I fixed their car up, did some bunch of maintenance on it that hasn't been done in a while, and I welded all the materials we needed to do the water wells. And I did that, and doing the water wells, it was so life-giving.
Mm-hmm.
The people in these communities that we did the wells in, instead of spending their time walking for miles and hours every day to get water, they were able to go to school because they could just go out their front door and walk for maybe a couple minutes, go get the water, and it's clean water, not just muddy, nasty river water down
Spending
down.
hours and hours a day hauling
Yes,
water,
but the
hauling
water
dirty
that they
water.
were getting was downstream from the dump.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
So it
So
was
not even going and getting quality water.
Right.
no. And so the water they were drinking was making them sick. So they were able to get clean water, and they can go to school, and moms can spend their time doing other things that can help earn the income. So those communities were able to come up and be educated and be able to start taking care of themselves better.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And
exciting.
then
That is literally life-giving. I like the way you said that.
and then
Literally.
there was another lady that was taking a sewing class, and I brought one of those reusable grocery bags with me. They can stuff inside, and so it's like a little bag with the fold it in the grocery bag. So I brought one of those with me, and the lady was taking a sewing class. I'm like, why don't you make some of these? I'm like, they're easy, and it's something you can sell, and everybody can use it forever. And so she started making those, and I gave her $20 for her first first set of materials. And she was renting a sewing machine at the time. I went back 9 months later. She had 2 of her own sewing machines and 2 employees, and she was selling all the bags to all the stores in town. A year later, they banned plastic bags in town, and she had all the business already. So
boom.
Oh my gosh.
So all her kids, I think she had like 6 kids. All her kids were in school, which they weren't before. Her 2 friends and all of their kids were in schools, and they weren't before. So that's like 20 people getting educated that weren't able to do that before. And 3 single moms that can now support their families. And they have a business. So and they got better housing. So they weren't living in like a mud stick house anymore. It was, it had concrete floors, so they weren't getting the jiggers in their feet and in their hands. Which I don't know if you know what jiggers are, but they're little bugs that crawl into your skin and eat your skin, and it's really gross.
And it hurts a lot.
Sounds awful.
Yeah. So and I was able to help do food programs. So like every Tuesday we'd feed all the children and the widows, and it was only like $20. So for the entire community, because it was like beans and rice. It was something for them to eat. And then and the families that had like the most like jiggers, like we helped them get the medicine to heal their hands and to get rid of the jiggers in their floor because they lived in the dirt. So I was able to help them so their family can actually do stuff. Because like if you can't move your hands and you can't walk, you can't go anywhere, you can't do anything, you can't get out of that area,
Mm-hmm.
where all the bugs are. So then you're stuck with more of them. And it's so
It
That's an
perpetuates.
awful cycle
Yeah.
to be stuck in.
it's
And
so bad. And I have so many stories from Kenya.
Mhm. Years later, I was able to go, well, not years later, a couple of years later, I was able to go back with you and install a water well at an orphanage. And we brought like 6 suitcases of clothes, and it was like Christmas, and they literally cried when their well got turned on.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
such a blessing. We
Yeah.
can't even, we don't think about it because we can just go to the tap and have amazing water.
Mhm.
And we
Yeah.
get to be picky about our amazing water, and oh no, it's only going to be filtered. It's only going to, I'm only going to buy
Bottled
the
water.
bottle, right? Like, so
Fiji water.
right, you're
Mhm.
gonna, we have such a luxury in that, and to give that gift,
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
to a
So
community, like that's
water,
not even just like one life at a time. That's like
but
big. That's
that
big.
that one well that we put in at that orphanage kept all the kids inside the orphanage, with the gates locked, so there was less rape.
Oh,
Mhm. Yeah.
that's lovely.
Because if the kid, because it was a girls' orphanage, so if the
Mhm.
girls went out of the gate
Mm,
to
They
go
were
get
at
the
risk.
water, they were at risk.
Mhm.
So we were able to keep them inside,
keep them safer longer.
and keep them safer longer. So there was less rape. So like these things, there's more effect than just being
Mhm.
able to drink.
Mhm.
There's
It's
so
life-changing.
yeah.
It's literally life-changing, and it's amazing to be able to provide these things. And that's your big why. Like, you
Mhm.
want to continue changing lives, changing families,
Yeah.
moving
I want to,
forward.
yeah. I want to help families get out of poverty.
Yeah.
But whether it's here or somewhere else, I want to help families that are trying already, not the lazy bumps.
Right.
Right.
People, because you got to put the work in, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah.
because otherwise it's just wasted money.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I
You're
I don't have a
reinvest
lot, and I don't want to waste it.
right.
So
But you're investing in people who are ready to receive that gift
yes,
and change their family tree. You changed how many family trees with that $20
That was
and an idea? Make
yeah,
these bags,
yeah.
right? Yeah, that's amazing.
It started with a bag that I brought from home and $20.
Mhm.
wow.
Amazing.
Absolutely.
It's pretty cool.
It
Pretty cool.
is.
So tell us a little bit about your investment business and
Okay.
how that has changed your life.
Okay. So I started the real estate investing journey about 5 years ago.
Mhm.
A little over a year ago, year and a half ago, I bought my house, the one that I was renting for 4 years, and then I did some upgrades to it and painted. And didn't do a lot to it, but I made 120 grand off of it
Mhm.
when I sold it.
Just a couple
That's
months ago.
amazing.
Yeah, just a couple months ago. So I had it for a year, and I lived in it the entire time. So it's not like I had to pay for a different place that I wasn't living in.
Mhm.
And so I did that, and I sold a house. It was $120,000 of the difference between what I owed and what I sold it for.
Mhm.
A bunch of that was taxes. So and
Yeah.
closing fees that came out.
Taxes and fees.
So I ended up with 75 grand.
Mhm.
I paid off all my debts,
Mhm.
and my business bought a truck. I didn't buy a truck. My business bought a truck. So my business is building credit now.
Mhm.
It's been building credit slowly with like little purchases here and there. But I haven't been able to get any credit
Mhm.
to start building credit.
Mhm.
It's hard to do that because like they want to make sure you're in business for like 3 years before anybody ever wants to give you any type of credit. But now that I have that and I'm starting to build that, once I have that for about a year and you know prove that my business is worthy and can pay its bills, then I can start getting loans on properties.
Mhm.
One thing that I want to do is I want to get parking lots into RV storage.
Mhm.
A lot of people want to have rentals. Washington is really hard because it is very tenant friendly.
Mhm.
And when we had COVID, I had a lot of friends that lost everything because
Mhm.
they had tenants that didn't have to pay their rent.
Mm.
Mhm.
So they didn't. And then they lost their houses because their tenant didn't want to pay their rent because the mayor said it was okay if they didn't.
Mhm.
So like I am scared of that happening again. And I've had renters in the past. And every time I was like, I got shafted in the end. Like I
Mhm.
didn't have them long enough to keep. But that was before I had any education,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
So I've learned a lot with the education that I got, and then there are many mistakes that I made before that I will not make again.
Mhm.
So you
Um,
learned. It's not that you
I learned.
failed or
It's a growth
it was
process.
definitely
Yeah,
learning and
yeah.
growing.
So, but I don't want to be a landlord. I don't want to deal with tenants. I don't want to deal with their toilets. I like all the issues that they create. Like, oh, I need you to come and change a light bulb at 3:00 in the morning. I'm like, I don't want to do it. So so I want to do RV storage. So people can come in, they pay for a spot for a year or 10 years or whatever it is. The longer they pay for it, the longer the price, the price
Is
Stays the
locked
same.
in.
Mhm.
stays the same, right?
Mhm.
So and that's a good service for people that are in, usually for areas that have a lot of homeowners associations.
Mhm.
So
Yep.
like
HOAs don't really like
they
having
don't like
RVs.
RVs.
Right. They don't
So
want you to have one parked in the front of your house. And it doesn't
right.
look beautiful usually to have extra RVs with
Beautiful.
blue tarps and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
things,
But
right?
even if it's a new one, it's not going to stay new forever.
No,
Right.
it's not.
But that's one thing that I want to do because it's consistent monthly income.
Mm.
Mhm.
Once I get that parking lot filled up, it's not a lot of extra work, so I can do something else with my time.
Mhm.
That's cool.
And that money that I get, that will pay my bills, and that will also give me enough money to get another property and enough money for me to help more family.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I can spend my time helping families and investing in my business so I can get more money so I can help more families.
Mhm.
Yes.
Like that's what I want
Right.
to do. I want to help families. So
So right now, while you're working on the investing and things like that, you're bringing people in to learn more about this financial education, this investment
yeah.
education piece.
So basically, you invest in yourself, in your own education to grow your own knowledge so that you too can help more families give back in a
Or
bigger way.
whatever your goals are.
Yeah.
So
Whatever your big why is.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's really
not
cool.
everybody has the same right.
Right.
No.
All of us do, right? That we all have those things that are on our heart to share, right? But we all have a place that we want to give.
Mhm. And it could
And
be very different.
yeah. And I love where you want to give. And I really thank you so much for sharing this with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for sharing with us about your heart and your business and your why and everything else. We will have your contact information in the description. So if any of you would like to reach out and get in contact with Annie, it'll be
You
there.
can.
You can. It'll be there.
Yes.
Do we have any other questions today?
I don't think we do have
I
any
don't
other questions. So thank you so much for joining us.
You guys are great. I love you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
We love you and our listeners. We'll see you next time.
Namaste.
Mwah.
So we are Sue and Greta, or our trail names are Lilo and Stitch, and we are hiking the whole Appalachian Trail from Maine to Georgia, so 2,194.3 miles. And we're doing it to raise $50,000 or more
Yes.
for Parkinson's disease research.
Yeah, through the Michael J. Fox Foundation. And we are doing it all in honor of my dad, her husband, who was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease back in 2010. So
Right.
and we all know so many people who are diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, and we are trying to do our small part in the world of Parkinson's disease to find a cure.
Thank you for joining us today on the Women in Leadership Body, Soul, Mind, and Business podcast. Please download the podcast on your favorite podcast player. We love you, and we will see you next time. Namaste.